The Roman Empire, the greatest superpower of the ancient world. But what if I told you it wasn't just barbarians, battles, or corruption that almost brought it down? It was debt. Banking scandals, financial crises, and reckless speculation nearly collapsed Rome from within. And the most shocking part? The same mistakes that nearly destroyed Rome are repeating themselves today. Welcome to Financial History Uncovered, where we reveal the secret money stories that shaped empires and still shape our world. Today, we'll dive into the debt crisis of ancient Rome. How reckless loans, greedy bankers, and economic scandals pushed the empire to the edge of collapse. The Roman Empire, the most powerful superstate the ancient world had ever seen. Its legions stretched from the sands of Egypt to the cold forests of Britain, and its wealth poured in from every conquered land. But behind the triumphs and marble monuments, there was a darker truth. A financial machine powered not just by gold and taxes, but by debt. And that debt nearly destroyed the empire. This is the untold story of how reckless loans, financial scandals, and banking collapses pushed Rome to the edge of ruin, and why history might be repeating itself today. The weight of debt. At first, Rome's wealth seemed limitless. Victorious generals brought home spoils of war, provinces paid heavy taxes. The empire minted coin after coin, stamped with the proud faces of emperors. But like any empire, Rome had expenses. Armies to feed, roads to build, politicians to bribe. And when expansion slowed, the gold stopped flowing. Rome turned to credit. Wealthy senators and equestrian elites stepped in as lenders, financing everything from military campaigns to grand construction projects. Politicians borrowed fortunes to climb the ladder of power, betting their future careers on the promise of repayment. Provinces borrowed to cover tax demands. Even the empire itself leaned on the fortunes of its elite. For a while, this worked. Money flowed, influence was bought, armies marched. But there's a dangerous thing about debt. It always comes due. And when the bills piled higher than the empire's coffers, crisis followed. The most famous financial meltdown struck in the year 33 CE under Emperor Tiberius. It began quietly. Credit dried up. Lenders, worried about risk, stopped issuing loans. Suddenly, senators, landowners, and merchants couldn't refinance their debts. Panic set in. People rushed to liquidate assets. Estates were auctioned off, often for half their value. The real estate market collapsed. Rome, the beating heart of the empire, was in chaos. Imagine the mighty forum, filled not with triumphal processions, but with desperate men begging for loans, selling their properties, and watching fortunes evaporate overnight. It was Rome's version of a banking crisis. And just like in modern times, the collapse threatened to bring down the entire economy. Tiberius, cold and calculating, knew he had to act. His solution, a bailout. He ordered 100 million sesterces from the imperial treasury to be lent interest-free for 3 years. That cash injection stabilized the system, but the damage was already done. Trust in Rome's financial order had been shaken, and many never recovered their wealth. Debt wasn't just an economic burden, it was a political weapon. Rome's elites used credit to control rivals and secure loyalty. A senator might trap another in a web of loans, ensuring political obedience. Generals borrowed to finance armies, gambling on victory to pay their creditors. But when those victories didn't come, when campaigns failed or when crops failed, the debts remained. Families lost estates, citizens slipped into slavery for unpaid loans. Inequality deepened. The rich grew richer, the poor more desperate, and the very stability of the empire trembled. Debt riots shook Rome more than once. Citizens demanded cancellation, shouting in the streets for relief. Each time, the government patched the system with temporary fixes, but the cycle of borrowing and collapse never truly ended. Sound familiar? In the end, it wasn't just barbarians at the gates that weakened the empire, it was the fragility within. Rome could survive invasions, political assassinations, even plagues. But its repeated debt crises and financial scandals eroded the foundations of trust and stability. The Roman economy became a machine, constantly patched but never repaired. And when the financial system rotted, the empire itself became vulnerable. History shows us something timeless. An empire can be brought to its knees, not only by swords and fire, but by loans and ledgers. And here's the chilling part. The story of Rome's financial collapse feels eerily familiar today. Bailouts, banking scandals, runaway debt. History doesn't just repeat itself, it rhymes. The Roman Empire reminds us that the true backbone of power is not armies or monuments, it is financial stability. And when money collapses, even the greatest empire can fall. If you enjoyed this journey into the secret financial history of Rome, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Financial History Uncovered. In our next episode, we'll reveal how ancient tax systems secretly shaped modern governments and why their influence is still with us today. You don't want to miss it.